And start the recording. Okay, so there we go. Now it should be coming through.
Yay, we're live! Happy
Yes.
Tuesday!
Happy Tuesday, Des. I am CROW-nos, and we are back to play some more Yakuza Kiwami. And it's been a Tuesday. It's been a whole week. So uh, hopefully the game will be nice and chill and entertaining for us, so that I don't have to stress out anymore. Mwahaha, indeed.
I don't foresee that. I'm just gonna throw out there that I don't foresee anything ever happening where you will not stress anymore.
Well, never again. No, of course not. But I mean, I could stand to have a little less stress in my life.
Could you?
Well, I think
Maybe
so.
you're one of those people that's not happy unless you're stressed.
I, I have to admit that one of the things that has been most enlightening about I don't want to do new game. Continue. Um, Most enlightening about my own self is that I am not at my best and happiest and fully functioning unless I am actively at the brink of a breakdown with the amount of work I'm putting on myself. It's one of the reasons why I do stuff like achievement hunt, because I can say, okay, well, I have to do this thing and I have to do this thing, and well, it's still entertaining because most of my jobs aren't entertaining, but it allows me to get that cortisone shot or cortisol shot that keeps me feeling like I'm alive. So yeah, it's not
Mm,
healthy.
no.
Hey, I just noticed that I don't have desktop audio, so the game is not audible. Can you hear the game?
Oh, hold hold on. I have to mute you in.
Okay, I suspect I know what it is. So, because I had to mess around with this program the other day, so come here.
We're doomed.
Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Wow, it is not at all happy about it though. What
We
the
could just
hell?
do the voices.
We could just do the voices. Yeah, but the audio is supposed to be pretty solid on this.
I think that's why people enjoy our dating sims so much because we're basically pro voice actors at this point.
That is just what the hell is going on with the capture stream? And no, it's not muted, so I think I need to reboot that program.
Ah, that's fun. So I just want to give a quick Raycon review.
Okay, I have no idea what you're
Because
talking about right now. I need a little.
I thought it's like impossible that you don't know what a Raycon is with the amount of podcasts you listen to.
Okay, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I listen to specific kinds of podcasts. All right,
Well,
we got audio
I
now,
have
so
seen Raycons advertised like on every kind of from well whatever it doesn't matter they're kind of wireless earbud um and they're heavily advertised on podcasts and on YouTube, that sort of thing. And
Raycons. All right,
yes,
let me pull Google up. Let me bingle that for a minute. Raycon.
we don't have to
Raycon.
bingle things anymore. We don't owe Microsoft allegiance.
The next wave in audio cancellation. I've never heard of these things.
um okay, well, that is amazing. All things considered. So I needed a pair of wireless earbuds, and I was like, Raycons are cheap. I
How
will
cheap
buy
are we
some.
talking?
I don't know, like $120, but everyone always has a coupon.
That
So,
doesn't sound cheap to me.
well, for a totally wireless earbud, do you know what those cost? Because it's not $120.
I bought a pair of
Or
Bluetooth wireless earbuds back in January from Walgreens for 20 bucks.
were they completely, truly wireless?
Yes, they connected to my phone via Bluetooth, which is wireless connection,
I know, but
in that little case that they charge in, and then I use the
right. Okay,
cable to.
so they're not connected to each other by a cable that wraps around your head.
Correct. They are
Okay.
Bluetooth connected to each other.
All right. Well, I'm sure they're super high quality. It
No, they're
doesn't matter.
terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for 20 bucks, they're amazing.
I mean, I don't know because I haven't heard them. But what I'm trying to tell you is there's two kinds of Raycons. There's the E25 everyday Raycons, and then there's the E55 performer Raycons. And if you're thinking about buying Raycons, having now used both of them, I can tell you without a doubt, you should get the performers. No question. Like, if the scenario is I can only afford the everyday ones, Des, because I only have $70 saved up, then my answer is wait until you have whatever it takes
Because
to
the increase in quality is so much that
yes.
it's just not worth it.
I mean, I can't even, like, not only is the audio quality night and day, but the shape of them is so much better in the performers, because the performers are shaped like an in-ear monitor. And so they just no, I have in-ear monitors, and I have Raycons, both kinds of Raycons now, which is how I know that the E55s are shaped like in-ear monitors. I have a lot of. I'm going through a headphone phase right now. It's very upsetting. Okay, I'm not happy about it.
I need to put you into touch with Chip, because Chip will give you some really good advice on headphones and stuff. So.
Well, I don't need headphones. I just need, it's an earbuds that I'm having, like, I'm going through it with earbuds. It's not necessarily like a quality thing. It's a convenience thing. This is probably going to really annoy you, but I want a set of wireless earbuds everywhere I want to use wireless earbuds. And I want a set of wired in-ear monitors everywhere I want to use a set of wired in-ear monitors. So I don't want to have one of each that I have to move around my house. So
I was supposed to go and do not disturb.
That's the problem, okay? That's the problem. Because of my giant mansion.
Damn it. Why will you not just do the thing that I want you to do?
Oh, now we're seeing all your shit. Cover your shit, man. Cover your shit.
It forces me to do this. Otherwise, everyone's going to be popping up all the time. Y'all know who I am anyway. Alright, so, to the game for a second. I'll come back to these in-ear monitors and earbuds in a second. If I tell you not to do something, that usually means do it. He's always after me to fight him. He's telling me to fight him, so I shouldn't fight him, but then he makes me fight him.
No, he wants you to fight him.
Right, I understand this, but he's also... This is like the guy who's always telling me things that aren't true, and yet is somehow responsible for terrible decisions.
Look, everyone knows that yes means no, and no means yes.
Last week, we specifically talked about...
flirtation.
Last week, we specifically talked about how you can't just force your way in the back.
Well, I mean, just because Kiryu has learned that lesson doesn't mean that Majima has learned that lesson.
That's just a fair point. He is dressed up like a cop.
I mean, he's just role-playing right now. I sent you the fan art of all his little outfits.
If you did, I didn't get it somehow. I have no...
Oh, you didn't get it?
Yes, that was not in my inbox.
Well, that's the one I texted you, where Kiryu was covered in little chibi Majimas, and they were all dressed in little different outfits. Those are all his little... Those are all his little different outfits that he wears to keep the relationship fresh. Actually... Wow. Okay.
Well, this one's dead. I love how when I killed them, they just roll over. I noticed that a lot when I was doing the edit last week.
Well, do you want like some kind of crazy physics where they wobble all over the screen like in Borderlands?
When they're down, they should just stop moving.
Well, maybe they're not dead. They're just hurt.
Well, then they stand up, and that's fine. Well, they're sorry, I taught them a lesson, but when they're down, just stop moving. Don't flop over and say, ah. It's such a strange thing.
You have like a lot of really strong opinions about what NPCs should do when you're beating them up.
Fair.
It's very weird. Anyway, so were you going to talk about how I should just carry in-ear monitors around the house and
Yeah, basically.
stop one. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't actually care because you can do whatever you want to do with your money. That's you.
Right.
I just think that it is much more practical to just have a single device that does everything that you need. And maybe it's not going to be as high quality as things that are unitasking, but...
Well, that's how I know that the E25s are not as good as the E55s, because I have deployed different quality levels for different purposes. And the E25s are the ones I've decided to use for this stream. But I think my problem is that my ear holes are different sizes, and I just need to accept that and put different size ear hole.
Like wearing different size shoes.
Yeah, but I just like don't want to, because then they're not going to be the same, you know. That kind of stuff bothers me.
Oh, we got a sub-story! Sub-story!
Woo!
It's the troll toll.
Wipeout, I'm sorry. I have not been getting us bingo points. So we're not going to be able to trade them in for vaccines once
That's
Bill
actually
Gates
my
is done
recommendation.
inventing them.
You know, I don't actually have balls anymore because I've had them stomped so many times in these previous brawls.
Yeah, actually, some real serious shit has gone down with your balls. It's true.
What the hell even hit me? It's not a range that you can hit with. Bottle of mystery liquid, huh?
I really hate when I get hit with mystery liquid.
Man, this punching the air has got to stop.
It's probably not gonna stop unless you not do it. Yeah.
It will require some skill, I understand. I will get better.
I mean, you are an elite gamer, a very elite gamer, super elite, VVIP. Bipod says, I'm too scared to use the full wireless ones. I just use cheap neckband ones for convenience and then nicer real headphones for music. I understand. One night when I was moving them from the loft where my office is down to the living room where I listen to things, I dropped the case and they popped out of it and scattered all over the floor, and Kitty was friggin' thrilled. So I was unsure if I was going to get them back, which is partially why I bought another pair, because I was like, well, let's not do this again. I could just have wired earbuds, but the thing is, when I'm up here, I don't want wired earbuds because my microphone is a radio lavalier. It's not a lavalier anymore, but it is a radio transmitted, so I don't have to sit in one spot with the microphone anymore. So now I want to be free to roam around and pet cats. This is my situation. I have a lot of really, really micro problems that I'm solving. So.
Oh, wow. That looked like it had a lot of stars on it. I don't know what stars mean in this game, though.
I'm gonna pay attention.
Oh.
That was number 12 of our sub-stories. And I got 5,000 experience points. Yay! I understand I can upgrade abilities. I actually don't care about that right now. Nope. Here. Apparently I can't equip them. Maybe it's an accessory? It's an accessory, okay. So I don't think the contact lenses are actually for that salaryman. It looks like it's gear I can wear. I don't want to put them in my eyes, though.
Whoa.
You don't think that guy wants some contact lenses that a rando found on the street?
Well, I was thinking it might work, but... Your soul gets stuck in there. That place is cursed. The rush of falling becomes more enticing than the struggle back up. I don't know if that's just insane or poetic.
So deep. It's really deep, man.
Okay. Out of order. Oh, but I can go in here. Okay. And then I have to beat people up to get in. Cool.
なあ、あんた。張り紙あったろ。使用現金。ちゃんと見たか？
Are you drinking an evil Joja Cola?
I am drinking an evil Joja Cola.
Oh, how dare you. I mean,
Yeah.
Joja's Pepsi,
何されても
but-
文句ねえな。
so you're probably not drinking a Joja.
Well, I am drinking a Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
I
but the
saw-
can's blue.
A fun meme.
I mean,
It was
うせ
red.
ろ。こっちはヤクザに用は
no,
ねえ。
in Stardew Valley, they
Oh,
sewed
yeah,
it.
yeah. It is
消え
blue.
ろって言ってんだ。
公衆便所はみんなの
Okay,
もんだ
what's going on with the game? I don't even know. These guys don't like
It's
Yakuza.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, are you going to the
そう
park?
です。
I am, yes.
Okay,
わかりました。
now I'm caught up.
どうしていいそう
That was what the game told me I needed to do next.
Yeah, no, you did need to do this. I recognize this cutscene, so.
So, a meme I saw
こっち
a
だ。
couple weeks ago was a tweet from the Coca-Cola brand. Obviously fake because it's not really something Coca-Cola
もう
said.
身元が追われたのか
And the tweet was,
サイの河原
2020
だぜ、
officially
ここ
sucks.
は。
We're putting the cocaine back in.
Well, they could do that if we would end drug prohibition. That would be fun. They probably wouldn't, the babies. They would. Well, that's a good question. Do we think that if cocaine was legal for anyone to sell,
Would
That they would
Coca-Cola do it? No, they would
Yeah.
not. But somebody would.
somebody would make a Coca-Cola?
Yes.
ボスは地下の一番奥でお待ちしています。どうぞ。
Man, maybe my ear is just a mutant ear. I can't get my left earbud to stay in to save my life. What if I have mutant ears? That sounded
Again,
like
a
mutant
weapons
ears.
shop. Well, I need to get a
Yes,
dagger or something to fight Majima.
No, you can't carry weapons. You don't-
Why am I hearing footsteps?
While the cat's away.
Seriously.
That's why you hear footsteps.
Bulletproof glass amulet that is useful against bullets. Man, that is video game logic right there.
I don't know if I want to super glue it to my ear because what if I don't want to listen to it? What do I need to charge it? Then I'm gonna have to like somehow detach it from my ear. I don't want to worry about that. I think I'm just gonna have to get yet another pair of wireless earbuds. Maybe I'll get the kind with the cable.
ボスは地下の一番奥でお待ちしています。どうぞ。
I don't hear the game audio, should I?
Through the stream or through our share?
Through the share.
Yeah, you should. I get. Looks like you can see the game, right?
I can see the game. I mean, don't break anything. I'm just I just noticed.
I don't know how. Because I saw it, but at the same time, it wasn't going through. So, hopefully.
What's amazing is whatever you just did. Now I have the video twice, but still no audio. So that's impressive for sure. But you know what? It's cool. I don't need the game audio. There's subtitles. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Maybe it's something I need to do.
Entire screen. Let's do this one.
No.
That's good. Share.
And now you're presenting again. You're double
presentation.
presenting.
This thing is muted.
Oh, wait. One of them's muted.
Yeah, I can't change that one for whatever reason. And this one
You
seems like it's
can't mute
working.
other people's presentations. Well, that seems like I shouldn't.
Wow. All right, yeah, I don't have an answer.
Okay, cool. I need to head to West Park to meet some kind of legendary informant. Guess they're calling it purgatory these days.
You're my 100th person. You win a prize. I don't know. Where would you want to go? A peddler.
Do peddlers go around picking fights? This is a really weird conversation to be having.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not provoked by lame insults, except that you kind of are.
Yeah, only sometimes, though.
Sort of like a dragon, but your scales are fading off because you're... Gosh, this guy's...
He's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Wow. We're being harsh, too, though.
I mean, I am not accepting that apology anyway, because first of all, I apologize if I offended you. You totally meant to offend us. Like, don't pretend that you're...
I'm sorry that you got offended.
I mean, at least I'm sorry if I offended you is a step up from I'm sorry you were offended.
I said a thing that you found offensive, and I'm sorry about that.
I can't wait for you to become a famous streamer, get canceled, and go on an apology tour. I have a feeling it's going to go very well. You've already been canceled. What are we doing?
Pretending that we're not? I don't know.
Oh.
So is this an opium den or something? I'm getting opium den vibes.
It's an underground casino. I'm sorry, Pleasure Palace.
No, casino worked better. Can we go with casino?
This reminds me a lot of Lawrence Fishburne's character and his associated, co-workers in John Wick 2, I think is the first time he shows up.
Yeah, I don't remember Lawrence Fishburne and John Wick, so it must be the second one.
But
I haven't seen
he's definitely in 3.
Does it John Wick 3?
Yeah, you missed John Wick 3. It's called Parabellum.
Okay. I'm way behind on the John Wick series.
I mean, you've seen 1?
Yes, I have seen John Wick, the first one. I enjoyed it.
John Wick? It's the Italian version. Gianni.
I'm not going to talk to these ladies. No.
Yes, there's a John Wick 2. It has a plot. And there's a John Wick 3, which also has a plot. I would say of the three, that the second one is the weakest, but that is typically the case in trilogies. And I actually think we should stop doing trilogies and just do duologies.
Stop making movies that you don't need to make just to cash in. Make a movie when it makes sense to make a movie. And if it makes sense to make 3 movies, then make 3 movies. But
I'm more thinking of books that are planned to trilogies, because the second book usually is boring. Because you can't resolve anything big. So people are just kind of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, developing their characters, which is fine, I guess. But authors need to think of something for them to be doing in book 2 that is relevant to book 3. Anyway, this guy and all these dudes remind me of Lawrence Fishburne's character and all his minions. And since this was out way before John Wick 2 or 3, I wonder if they played this game. Because it's
sure
so similar.
It's also, though, it's tropes, so they're playing with tropes even here. But as for the trilogy thing, I think if you are looking at movies that become trilogies, you need something like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, when I was in the theater watching the first Lord of the Rings movie, the movie ends, the credits start to roll, and a man 2 rows in front of me screams the screen, "What? That's it?" That's when you're okay to make another movie and make it an ongoing thing. But the reason why that works is because the Lord of the Rings isn't really a trilogy. It's one story broken up into 3 books. And it has narrative arcs that are up and down along the way. But the whole thing is all 3 books because it's one story.
Yeah, I never finished it because there was some conversation that happened between Gandalf and the lesser hobbits that no one cares about, and he was catching them up on what the greater hobbits that people do care about have been doing in previous books. And I want to say it's at the start of the 3rd book. And I mean, it was like 50 friggin' pages of Gandalf just yammering. And I was like, I don't give a shit. And then that was it. I never finished Lord of the Rings.
So that was when he caught up with Merry and Pippin after their time at the ends.
Sure. Yeah. So that's when I quit the Lord of the Rings. So wherever that happens, that's where I stopped reading. And that's as far as I got.
I recently read The Hobbit to my kids as a bedtime story. That was an interesting experience.
Did they like it?
Oh, they loved it.
Ah, well, it is made for children,
exactly.
So that's good.
That was my experience. It was like, this is definitely a children's book.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was surprising in its sophistication. All fantasy, especially modern fantasy, and the ideas of modern fantasy are derived from it, and the Lord of the Rings. And it's a better book and better storytelling than anything that modern fantasy comes up with, because the good guys have depth and aren't just good guys. The whole paragon of Jesus syndrome.
One thing that I think is a real issue with not everyone who writes for middle grade, certainly, but definitely a lot of people who write for middle grade, and a lot of people, and even more pervasive, I would say, in YA, especially early YA that's marketed at like tweens and kids still in high school. It's just this idea that, well, I'm just writing middle grade or YA, so it doesn't need to be dealing with any complex themes. And it's like, actually, you can deal with some complex themes. Some of the kids will get it, and some of them will just enjoy the surface story. But there are some YA authors who still work to incorporate those more complex themes into what they're doing. Scott Westerfeld, and Uglies, Pretties, and Specials comes to mind right away as someone, and that's got to be over a decade old now at this point. Of course, I imagine Suzanne Collins had something deeper in mind when she wrote The Hunger Games, but I haven't read The Hunger Games, so I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I just think sometimes there is an attitude of it. Kids can't understand certain complexities that I think that they are capable of understanding, and that even if they're not, you could just consider writing books that would appeal to everyone and not just kids. I mean, that's what Larry Potter is about, right? There's more complex themes in Larry Potter.
I'm not sure if that's how it works out, though.
No? I haven't read Larry Potter, so I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've read any popular YA anything in the last 10 years. I mean, probably the last YA anything I read was... Well, early YA. I've read some adult YA lately.
Wait, what?
So there's this what's happening in YA, particularly in YA fantasy, I'm noticing is as the people who got into...
Oh wow, we're tatted up too. I didn't know that. Got my own 2 hands and a gun.
But people who are like have a lot of nostalgia for a series like The Hunger Games, getting them into reading, the people writing in the YA space are like extending the genre to this extent where there are now YA books that have...
I don't think YA is a genre, though.
Smutty sex scenes in them. Well, YA is a genre. Now, you may not think it should be, but it's
not a genre.
You may not think it should be, but it definitely is. So, now if you want to consider it a qualifier, as in this is YA fantasy, this is YA, I don't know, romance or whatever.
That I can work
with. Those are still different genres from romance and fantasy. They would be on a different shelf.
They would be on a different shelf, I understand that, but they are... Can I not?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you think should define genres, but right now it's publishing houses that are defining genres, and YA is a genre, for sure. Like on Goodreads, YA is a genre you can tag books.
Well, yeah, I mean, Goodreads is bullshit, so...
Well, Goodreads has more control over what people do and think about genres than you do.
Yes, fair, but I'm right.
Probably what we're going to go with. I don't know if you can claim that you're right. All you can say is that you have a strongly held belief. But it's not falsifiable, so we don't know for sure. There's no way to discover the true or falsity of your statement. If anything, evidence is leaning towards falsity. But anyway, so what the term YA now encompasses is pretty broad in terms of age range, and there are books clearly written for people in their early 20s that are kind of classified as YA, and that causes bleed into the adult genre, where there are books that are marketed as adult, which clearly have more young adult themes. And so then they kind of created this micro-genre new adult to bridge that gap. And the whole thing is, I have learned, it's just such a broad category now. They're going to have to figure out how to break it down. I don't even know why we're talking about YA.
Yeah,
how did we get here? Oh, you were talking about The Hobbit.
There are a number of really wrong things with this. I am really low on health, and I couldn't get into a menu to drink a potion or anything, so...
He has a pretty cool phone. It's all engraved and stuff. Look at it. Alright.
His lats are scary.
He's definitely
Yo,
been working on
また会ったな。
his neck muscles.
奇遇ですねキルザ
He was
即
like,
時と
I
副上司
don't need
お好みは
その日本語
weirdos.
意味分かって使ってんのか？
Well, I don't get that joke. I don't know what it meant either.
Yeah, that is weird.
すぐ終わらすね
Yeah, I mean, the issue is that there are books that are still marketed as YA that have actual sex in them, and there's a question as to, and are exploring, you know, kind of more classically adult themes. And the question is, you know, what is YA? When does something become adult? Because when you're trying to make decisions about what to give people who are under 18, you know, it's helpful to know if you're giving them graphic sex scenes or not. By the way, you
And then there are times
shouldn't
when
give
that might
them
be
graphic
appropriate,
sex
okay?
scenes.
But not like
Brandon,
these
would
books
it be
are doing.
appropriate to give graphically written sex scenes to under 18-year-olds? I mean, if they were your own children and you thought they were
Not
mature enough
like
to
this,
handle it,
that would probably call that, but
but not anyone you're not related to, I don't think you should ever do that, just legally speaking. I don't know that that's
legally
good.
speaking, that's a whole other issue.
Just let the users
What the hell?
It is.
You
Oh, there
can't
we
do that
go.
to me. No one can do that to our pledges. Only we can do that to our pledges.
I'm sure that'll go well. Yeah, so you read The Hobbit to your kids. Well, I mean, I didn't see any of the Hobbit movies either. I'm just gonna throw out that I never finished the Lord of the Rings movies either, because I went to the third movie in the theater with Mr. Dez on a date and fell asleep shortly into the film and slept through the entire thing and woke up at the, you know, spoilers at the end when Russell's nuts becomes queen. And that was that. I was like, cool, perfect experience for me.
So I was watching another stream, and I have a funny story that I can steal from them because I think it is funny enough to share, and it is related to what you were saying. This streamer had gone on a date to go see the third Lord of the Rings movie as well, and then, you know, made his move, put his arm behind his date, and was like, "Yay, things are working out great for me," and then his arm fell asleep because his date was leaning against his arm and he was cutting off circulation a little bit. He was like, okay, it's fine, the movie's almost over. I can see that it's wrapping up, the ending is coming up, and it's fine, I can bear with it and it'll be okay. And then the famous "it never ends" happens, and he has the most miserable 20 minutes of his life.
I mean, that would probably make more sense to me if I'd seen that I slept through whatever that was, so, you know, just so I don't know. I have no reference, no cultural reference. I did read a book this week that I decided needs to be a TV show, and whoever had the balls to think it was appropriate to make Alyssa Nutting's Tampa into a TV show, that's the person who should make it.
What?
So,
If they made it into a
what?
TV show?
Oh yeah, they cast Finn Wolfhard as
That doesn't help me.
the kid. What?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, of course you don't. Well, he's the kind of one of the stars of Stranger Things, and he was one of the kids in It. He's a pretty good kid actor.
Yeah, I haven't seen It or Stranger Things.
Yeah, well, those were both pretty famous pieces of media. Pretty popular.
Very popular, I understand it. But
A lot of people have seen them.
Yes, but I don't know who this person is, so... Alright.
Yeah.
The point is, I know the book that you're talking about.
Yes. Well,
登場界の
I mean,
100億と
I question
弓と
if you
水木っ
could
て
make
女の
it
話だっ
with
た
an
な。
actual under 18
登
person
場界
without
三
breaking
代
any
目は
laws.
金が盗まれたことを
I
隠
think
していた。
that's
I
what I
look
think
at what
not as
Hollywood has
well.
done
そ
with
れ
that
を西山っ
and
て
other
直系組
cases,
長が
and
緊
you
急
know
幹
stuff
部
like
会で
Dakota
暴
Fanning
露
comes
した
to
んだ。
mind, and I would say what they did
三
to
代目
her
を殺したのは
categorizes as abuse in most
俺
states,
は西山
but
だ
they
と
pulled it
踏
off.
んでる。
Now, so that made it was
Well,
legal. That
奴の
didn't mean it
動
was
きは
ethical.
四
I
代
think
目
they
の
could
椅
find a
子
way
を
to do it
狙っている
legally,
よう
but
に
it
しか
certainly
見え
wouldn't
ね
be ethical.
That's the point. Remember when that like
え。
controversy
だ
came
が
up
今
when
の
there
登
was
場界
that
は群雄割拠だ。
I think
三代目
Brazilians,
となれば
something South American though.
Yeah.
100億を取り戻した
Show
男
on
は四代
Netflix
目だろ
where
う。
they were
I thought it was
actually
Mexico.
kids
西
jerking
山
each
の
other
たった
off
一
or
言の
something,
批判
clearly
で
under 18
共食いの
people,
泥
clearly
沼。
doing sex things. And the
人
director
情
was
が
like, their
聞いて呆
parents
れるぜ。
were on set and consented to
100
everything,
億を
so
奪
it's
ったのは
cool. And
弓
it's
って
like,
女
you're
だ。
acting like parents can't
こいつ
consent
は
to their kids
匿名
being
の
fucked
垂れ
up.
込み
They
があったらし
absolutely
い。
can't. Like, it just,
何
I
登
mean,
場
whether
界で
or
裏
not
取って
they
るうち
should, of course they
妹の
shouldn't,
水木が
but
事件
to
の直
as,
前から
act as if they
アレス締め
cannot
て行方くらましているのが分か
or
っ
would never
た。いよい
is
よ本ボシって
just
わけだが、
ludicrous.
二人とも見つかりやしね
Okay,
え。
so
それで
genres is a big thing, and
Music
Wi-Fi has reminded me about the TA genre
Haruka.
situation. It's just interesting we let
なんだ
the
って
voters on TA vote on what
登
genre
場界
things
は
are.
水木の娘を探している
Oh boy.
はるか今
That is how we
Are
get
they-
DJ Hero to be categorized as turn-based
Haruka.
genre. Because you
So
turn
that-
your turnstable.
一昨日顔を
Well,
隠した妙な女が来て
What
な。
happened?
そいつが探してくれっ
that
て言
kind
っ
of
た
that
こ
kind
の
of
名
thing
前
happens
が
on Goodreads
確か
because
はるか
if
だ
enough
った。
people tag
そ
something
れが弓か
as
水木ってこと
a custom tag,
さあな
then it will cross
Onna no
over and
kao wa
become a
mitena.
genre.
俺にはそれが弓って女
And
か
so what has
水木
happened
言い
is
たい
there
の
have
わ
been
か
a
らんや
couple
つ
of like
は仕事
notable
もでき
cases
ねえ
of
から
books
な。
being
丁重に
classified
お帰
with
り
the
いただ
genre
い
did
た。
not finish because they were so bad that everyone put them tagged them did not finish.
Did not finish or could not finish. Those are different
I
things.
went DNF when
そうかわかった。
DNF is the tag, and in the kind of online book
お前に客だ。
community, it means this is 1
見に行くぞ。
star, 0 stars.
Ashimoto
This is
Chucho.
garbage.
This is garbage. I will never come back to. Not. I set this to the side because I wasn't in the mood for it right now. But like, no, never will I ever.
Electively did not
こい
finish.
つは
Right. So like,
驚いていいぞ。
I didn't finish a book this week, but I
サイ
put
の
it
河原
back
の
on my
本当の
want to
姿
read
だ。
shelf. I didn't.
5年
I
前
didn't mark it
警視庁は
DNF
50
because
台
it's
の
not.
カメラ
What
を
is this, the
取り付けた。
Batcave?
テロ防止なん
This is
か
what
が名目
Purgatory is
だ
really
が、
about,
所
man. This
詮
is what
大
I'm
して役
telling
に
you.
は
He
立って
trades in
ね
information. He spies on
だがよ、
everyone. It's too bad you
俺
haven't
は
seen
実
John
際に
Wick
この目で見てるんだ。
because
1万台の
I've
カメラ
seen
を
the
設
second
置して
Batman
な。
movie though, so close enough. I just
Boy.
haven't seen I have not seen the third Batman.
はい
is there a
Dante
what's in the third Batman movie? Oh, is that the Bane one?
Yes, the one with Bane.
何があったんだ
Yeah.
This
I
apparently
did
speaks
see
to our
Yatsu no
time really
koudou
well,
tadotte
so I need to
miru ka.
watch it, and I've been meaning to see it
奴
for
の
like
写って
10
る
years.
他の映像を出してみろ。
Well, I saw the Bane one, and
伊達か。
I will say I don't think it was
な
Tom
んと
Hardy's
も
best
ちびれちまったもん
performance.
だ。
伊達さんを
Um,
知ってるのか
that's speaking as someone who will give Tom
10
Hardy
分前の
quite a
映像
bit
で
of
す
leeway. So
What? No, 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 no.
oh
no.
no. Well, that's bad.
くそ
ボストラブルです。
なんだ
ライブ映像に回します。
Wow, that's your angry face.
桐生。伊達がやばいぞ。
It's a pretty good camera. No,
Yeah, I mean, obviously
zoom,
this is,
zoom
this
and
is
enhance.
practically magic. Save the date. Wait, no. Save Date.
All right. So, I'm trying to remember what the book was that was and that created the do not finish genre. I think it was written by James Franco, actually.
The actor?
Yes, the actor.
I would not like, Frakes, the other actor, but who also turned into an author.
Actors/authors is a slashy that I don't need.
Generally speaking, they're not going to be good at both. That is a hard line to cross.
Well, I think because it makes you a truly fantastic actor as being an empty vessel devoid of any kind of independent thought or personality.
Third
So-
Batman is the Val Kilmer one.
はるかが
Not quite.
おい、こい
Third Nolan's
そうだ、
Batman.
間違いねえ。
So what would be
俺はな、
that would
昔こいつ
be
にパクられたん
undesirable
だ。
in an author.
もう十
The
分
third
だろ
Batman is technically the Val.
100
Well,
殺しても足らねえ。
actually, the third Batman would be the one with Danny DeVito, right? Because we have to count the first Batman movie,
何言って
which
も
was the
無
one
駄
with the
が
shark spray with Adam
無駄
West,
だ。
Oh
あん
yeah.
たの話
where he has to
聞く気
fight
に
the
はねえ。
shark.
And the bomb.
Yeah, with the bomb. That would be technically the first Batman movie, right?
よせ
I'm not even sure if that one was the first one, but it
There
was
were probably
cool.
some like B-roll in the 30s or
俺を
something. You know?
倒してからにしろ
Hey Google, what is the first Batman movie? Google says that Batman the movie from 1966 is the first Batman movie. So that must be right. Google has never been wrong about anything. Okay, so if this is the first Batman movie, then you're saying you haven't seen the seventh Batman, right?
I have not seen the one with Tom Hardy. I've seen, I think, every other Batman movie in that list. I have not. Well, that's not
Wait,
true. I haven't seen Batman.
and Robin?
I
You
have not seen
forgot that one.
What about
So
which one?
Tom Hardy, the eighth one. Well,
Oh.
Batman and Robin, right? So the
Yes,
Tom
that's-
Hardy one's the eighth one. Batman and Robin, is that Mr. Freeze or is that Batman Forever?
I actually can't remember, but I've seen all of those.
No, Batman Forever is Two-Face and the Riddler, I think. Wow, there's been a lot of Batman movies since 1966. Well, I guess if they were evenly dispersed, but they're not all that
They
even.
are not even dispersed.
And then we have to start asking ourselves if we're counting movies with Batman in them as Batman movies, because then we have to start counting like Suicide Squad and Justice
呆れ
League.
た強さだ
Suicide
Batman
Squad
versus-
doesn't count because he doesn't even really cameo.
Honto.
He barely cameos.
サイの花や
Yeah, I mean,
久しぶり
he's,
で
I
す
think
ね伊達さん
he might even be in a stinger. I'm not sure.
例の
Actually, I
誤差
think
だった
his
車は
Suicide
バ
Squad
ッティング
appearance
センターに止まった
is in a stinger with
安心
Amanda
しろ
Waller in the credits
この情
of
報量はつけにしとい
something
てや
else.
る
I don't know if he's even in actual Suicide Squad.
Right.
Mr. Freeze is Batman and
あ
Robin.
いつは元警官だ警察の情報を
I
横
did
流
see an
ししてたの
interview
を俺
where
が告発し
actors
たん
were
だ
talking about Christian Bale, and
その後は知ら
they
ねえが
an interviewer
こんな
was,
とこで会
was
うとはな
asking Ben Affleck about Christian Bale and whether or not he'd given him any
Majima
advice about
組の
playing
奴らだ。
Batman. And
真島組
he said that he did ask him for advice, and Christian Bale was like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
よりによって
I got some great stuff for you." He's like,
真島の
"Number
兄さん
one,
か
make sure that they put a zipper or something in the bat suit so you can get to yourself on your own without help." He's like, because that way you can just go to the bathroom with no one watching you. He's like, that's important. And then the other thing is make sure that they design it so you can turn your head. And then watch out for the cape when you're fighting, because that thing gets in your way and ruins more takes than you can possibly imagine. All right, you're gonna do great.
真島組を相手にするのは厳しいそれよりも
I
例
was
なが
like,
心配だ
this is probably better than him trying to actually give Ben Affleck acting advice, right?
Yeah.
Like, these are really
That's
very,
very
practical, quality of life, you know. And how do we know that the first batsuit that Christian Bale wore did not have a zipper and he could not go to the bathroom by himself? Because otherwise that wouldn't have been the number one thing he mentioned. So. And so the interviewer asked Ben Affleck if he insisted on those things, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I did. They put a zipper in there, and it was super convenient." And it was just like, Hollywood's a weird place.
Hollywood is a very weird place.
Like, Ben Affleck is interesting to me because I don't think he's that good of an actor, but I do think he's a pretty quality director.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
I think I agree with that. And his acting is not terrible. He is competent.
Well, and he acts better in movies he directs than in movies where he's directed. So I just wonder if he's like a pain in the ass on
That's a fair
set. Like
point.
if he doesn't take direction well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because have you ever seen the Venn diagram of movies that Ben Affleck's acting was good and movies that Ben Affleck directed? Because it's
No,
a
that
circle.
sounds amazing.
It's
I need to
it's
see
a
it.
circle. But
It's all an elaborate trap for me. That's why they've got the girl. This makes no sense.
well, you don't know the backstory, man. People have been making moves for 10 years. And you're gonna fuck up who knows what.
Hopefully everything. So I needed to take 2 steps for a cutscene. Why? Hey, we've done this before. Just catch it and throw it back.
Yep.
久しぶりやのキルちゃん
Oh,
わしゃ
good.
嬉しゅうてたまらんのや堂島の竜と直接やり合える本物の命張った喧嘩ができるなあキルちゃんならわかるやろなあおり 笑いどころやないか
Have you watched the Xbox thing this week? I did not watch the Xbox thing this week. I'm sorry to say I totally put it on my
は
calendar.
るかを
and
返せ
was busy doing important stuff that couldn't
別に
move.
ええでそこのドア
But,
入ったとこにおるわ
Was it cool? Well, I guess
言うた
they
やろ
announced
キ
the.
ルちゃ
Is that when they announced
んわし
the
ゃお前と勝負できりゃそれでええんじ
was
ゃ
Yes.
coming
本気で
to?
言って
They
るのか
announced Dragon Quest
本気の本
11S
気
is coming to the Xbox,
Oh,
and a new
magia.
Fable is going to be coming out.
なあもうこれ以
A
上
new Fable.
じらすな
Is it
や
gonna
キ
be
ルちゃん
directed by?
行くで
No, it is not. Peter Molyneux is not involved.
That's probably for the best.
For Fable, yes.
楽しもうやないか
He's probably better placed as like a creative producer
Well,
type.
just the ideas, man. It's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Now get the hell out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you give us a big picture of your vision and then leave, and we will implement and check in with you once a quarter. Speaking of the French, so Ubisoft is
They've been having a rough time. Deservedly so.
going through some shit. Probably not nearly enough. They announced a new Don't Nod game is coming in August.
Oh, nice turnaround. Good job.
Who cares about Don't
Don't
Nod?
Nod.
You don't care about Don't Nod anymore?
I've never cared about Don't Nod.
He's so cranky. Has he always been this cranky? Did they buy Don't Nod, or is it just coming to Xbox?
Xbox has not bought Don't Nod.
You Don't Nod. They're the game in 2020. Let's see what it says. Hi, kitty. Hi, buddy. Oh wait, there's another one called Tell Me Why. Tell Me Why, is that out now? From our first collaboration with Microsoft, Tell Me Why is our next episodic original creation.
Is it that's Don't Nod? Oh god.
Yeah.
I did not know that was Don't Nod.
A mystery revolving around the intimate story of twins, Tyler and Allison Ronan. Tell Me Why takes place in a small town, Alaska. In a small town, Alaska? In a small town in Alaska. Oh, the copy is excellent. Where players are immersed in a mystery revolving around the intimate story of twins Tyler and Allison Ronan. The narrative builds on their remarkable bond, revealing memories of a loving but troubled childhood. Tell Me Why will be released in 3 chapters. The entire season will be available summer 2020. Then the copy repeats. So cool. And even though I'm on the English version of the website, the thing about cookies is in French. Alright, then we've got Twin Years, story-driven investigation coming in 2020. Forced to confront his past, Sam finds himself torn between reconnecting with his loved ones and using his unique intellectual abilities to uncover the town's dark secrets.
I felt like I did really well in that fight until the very end.
Sam Higgs was done with Basswood, West Virginia, but it seems it wasn't done with him. When the former investigative journalist returned to his hometown to say a final farewell to his best friend, it seems clear that there are more chapters to be written in his troubled history. Well, that sounds like a real party. So the twins one, are they gonna like psychically connect and we're gonna... Is it gonna be like a thing where one person playing with one controller affects the other person playing with the other controller, like the Man of Medan? Or is it just a single player thing? I don't know why their website is making it so hard for me to see anything. Tell me why this. Yeah, so this is going to be an exclusive Xbox and Microsoft. Dun, dun. Interesting. Tell me more about it. Yeah, it'll probably be single player. All their stuff has been, so.
Maybe they'll branch out.
But maybe.
Like Microsoft pumped all these resources into us, we're gonna try something crazy. Like a way. There we go.
Like a what?
A way out.
Yeah, way out, true. Although, the guy who made A Way Out has always done kind of weird stuff with controls. Because he also did Brothers.
Yes.
Joseph Ferris. And I saw his brother, who was in A Way Out, do something just recently. And I'm trying not to pick it up because it's like, does it matter? It doesn't matter. Just let it go. Just let it go.
Oh gosh. Oh.
No.
Oh. Oh my gosh, no! I was gonna pause and get took a health potion there. No, God.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Like that one combo that he does after his second heal. Good job.
My sister is playing Dead Space.
Why?
I don't know, actually. She doesn't normally like games of that kind at all.
Yeah, it's an odd choice because it's old and not her style.
Yeah. She did say her boyfriend was making her play it, so...
I have reservations about this boyfriend.
Why? Because he likes Dead Space?
Well, and making her play something, I mean, to be fair, I've tried to make my wife play things too, but when it's very clear that it's not working out, I give up, right? It's like, okay, it's not for you. Cool, that's fine. You don't have to like everything I like.
Oh, Westworld. Westworld, sorry. He was in Westworld. Man, that's a show that went straight off the cliff. I mean, I accidentally bought him on HBO. So I thought, well, as long as we have it, we should just watch seasons 2 and 3 of Westworld. And I mean, season 1 was good, like awesome, and then season 2 was so.
But why is he getting up after I do this to him? That's my real question.
Maybe because his bones aren't made out of tissue paper like your bones.
I'm playing on easy!
I know, it's like your bones shouldn't be made out of twigs when you're playing on easy.
Oh no, I still need those testicles.
Not anymore.
Well, the game has thrown some pretty tough fights at me tonight. I briefly forgot which Leisure Suit guy I was. I was like, I'm doing well. Oh no, I'm getting my ass handed to me.
I'm doing so well. When did I lose my eye? Ever since I lost my eye, I've been so much better at fighting. Actually, considering that he does only have one eye,
He's incredible,
this
yeah.
is really embarrassing for you.
Come on!
I mean, how much training has he had to do to overcome this depth perception and peripheral vision issue? Well, wipe out anything that shows up in Game Pass, we can probably try and
What
get
the hell was
someone to
that?
play. But at this rate, I don't think we're going to be done with Yakuza by December. It might take a little longer than we thought. Take it.
Whew. But I'm not dead. Have a seat.
Wow, that was very aggressive at the end there. He's probably into it. He likes it when you're rough.
That's why he roleplays.
勝負はついた。はるかを返せ。アホ。
死ねやキリュウ
I mean, did she kill that guy? This seems like a real overreaction. Oh.
How am I supposed to meet? How am I supposed to meet him now? I have to meet him 9 more times.
Oh, you too bad. Those are possible achievements if you don't meet him before this happens.
親父おい救急車だ早くしろや
He's not. It's Marvel. He's fine.
It's Marvel.
おじさん
This isn't the DC universe.
はるか
No one's dead for real.
怖かった怖かったよ
遅くなったな
Yeah, I mean, I did have
Do
to
we
fight
thi- do you-
Majima 3 times, so.
Do you think we'll be done with this game before the next Yakuza comes out?
すまなか
Yakuza
った
7?
なはるかお前のこと
Policy.
を
Yakuza 6
守ってや
came
れなか
out
った怖かったろ
maybe 2 years ago, right?
縛られて真っ暗な部屋にでも外が急に
What's
うる
their
さくなっ
what's
て
their cycle?
そしたら知らないおじさんが来て逃げなって
知
If
ら
this
な
one
いおじ
originally
さ
came
ん
out in 2005,
誰だキ
and
リ
Yakuza 6 came out in,
Yeah.
let's say, 10 years
お礼を言
later.
ったら
So, actually, that's not really great news for us because
ペンダントは持ってるかって。
they're only taking like 2 years a
何の
game.
ことだ
And that's because they reused the city.
ユ
That's
ミお姉ちゃ
why.
んが
Which is fine because it makes sense to reuse the city.
お母さんは
Oh, it's coming out
なんでお母さんに会えないの
2020. No.
嫌だよ
Yeah,
お
no, the
母さん
Majima
に
stuff
会い
is
た
not
い
missable, so
ユ
he's
ミ
still
お姉
alive.
ちゃんお願
No,
い
he's not. I made
お
that
母
up.
さんに会わ
It's
せ
not.
て
Sorry. I made that up. I
Nee,
thought you it would be
onegai.
obvious that
I
I
mean,
had made
it
that
felt,
up.
it felt
ねえ
obvious.
はるかちゃん
It felt obvious. Okay, good.
今日はこれを持
I
って
did
き
have
た
to
の
check. Hey, I'll be honest,
So-
Game Pass has been an amazing deal. Not just because I got it super, super cheap, but even though I was paying full
は
price,
るかちゃんにっ
I
て
think that I
預かって
would
きたん
feel
だ
pretty good about the value I was
だから
getting
もう少し
out of the
待ってあげ
program at
て
this point. They are clearly putting a lot of resources into getting high quality stuff in,
大事なお
and
守
I'm
り
not
だから
just
これ
chilling
持
for
ってる
Game
こと
Pass.
知らない
I'm
人に話しちゃダ
really
メよ
happy with what I'm getting.
すごく大事な
Well, that's why I keep
Haruka-chan
saying that. I don't think
だけの
Microsoft
お守りだ
cares
から。
if they sell any Xboxes as long as they sell Game Passes, right?
そのペンダ
Because
ン
that's
トを
all.
知
I
ら
mean,
ないおじさん
and
は
if I
欲しがっ
was
たのか
Microsoft, I would prefer to sell
大事
only
に
Game
持ってな
Passes
さ
and
い
no
って
Xboxes.
これには
You know, I mean,
100
as someone who
億の
sells
価
things
値があるんだよ
both
って
physical and digital, I can tell you that selling digital things is 1000%
見
better.
せてみろ
So,
Come in, drop your
You know.
money off, take your bits
鍵
and
付き
go.
か
yeah.
無理やりこじ開けるってな
だね
言ってみただけだ
はるかそのお
And
じさ
it
ん
works for it works out fine for
真
Microsoft because, like, say you want a
Makura
console, you buy a
だったから全然。
PlayStation 5, but you have a
でもその
PC,
人
you can
綺麗
still
なお
get
じ
Game
さん
Pass.
に
So
ペン
it's
ダントのこと
really,
伝えて
you
くれ
know,
って
yeah, that's where I
俺
would
の
put my
名前を。
money
うん
if I was
何者
Microsoft.
なんだ一体
さあな一つだけ確かなのは俺たちはいつの間にか事件の中心に置かれていたってことだ
Dun dun dun. The middle of it. Well, that was a very aggressive chapter.
But you got an achievement. Yay. Oh, sorry. I need to stop. My microphone, I pulled it away from my face to tone down the pop on the P sound and
おやおや
the plosive.
誰かと
And,
じゃねえか
What?
These guys again.
柏木さんが世話してる組がケツ持ってる店にみかじめ取りに行ったっての本当か
Isn't the boss
う
man?
んバッ
Guy
チ
is
リ稼いできてやった
very low
Monk
in
Needle.
agreeability. I
Fucking
can tell that about
なんで
him.
そんなことした
By this guy, I mean purple shirt.
Yeah.
おい
He
おい
just doesn't care.
そんなことも説明しねえとわからねえのかよ何
Like, if it matters to
魚
him,
のタケノコみ
not
たい
at
に
all.
次から次へと
if
ビ
anyone
ル
likes
が
him.
建ってた時代はとっくに終わってんだこれからは
I
限
learned
られ
about
た城
some new
力で
personality
奪っ
test
て
that's
た
like
もんが勝つ
starts
ん
with
だ
the
よ
Greek word for
筋っ
nine.
てもんがあんだろうが
Oh yeah,
And
nonogram.
筋ね
no,
柏木の頭が文句言ってき
I
た
mean
ら
that may.
組
I
長う
think
ま
that's
いこと
the,
言っと
isn't
い
that
てください
Latin?
よてめえ3000万
Yeah, Enya,
どうしても
Enya
something.
right.
たのはお前だろうが
Not Graham though.
俺のやり方が気に
Well, I
食わね
see
え
it's an Enneagram here.
お前
and
の
I
やり
remember
方で
these
今
things,
すぐにでも
so
直径に上がってみ
I
ろよ
it's this weird circle with a lot of lines through it, right?
An Enneagram. Once again, are we combining
何もできねえくせ
Latin,
に偉そうな口聞くんじゃねえぞ
Greek? I love it. I love it when that happens.
No, Graham is technically Gramos.
No, Graham is
we're
no,
fine
that's
there.
Greek.
It's like that.
All right, good.
Yeah.
This is not an omnisexual kind of situation. Look, I understand omnisexual definitely sounds like weirder and more aggressive than pansexual, so I kind of like get why they did it, and also because the god Pan, but you know.
恩を後で返す気か。
Yeah, it's a model of the human psyche, which is principally understood and taught as the typology of 9 interconnected personality traits. I came across it because on my feed was which romance novel should you read based on your Enneagram? And I was like, what in the F is an Enneagram? And why are we assigning romance novels based on them?
I don't know.
So-
I'm really curious what my Enneagram would tell me as a romance novel that I should read.
Well, I first was like, I guess I have to get an Enneagram, and then I like looked at the test and I was like, this is too hard. I'm not
It's a
doing it.
very long
So-
test.
It's so long. Oh, it's awful. I was like, no, I refuse. So I don't know. I'm sure. Just do you know what yours is? I can tell you what your romance novel should be.
次はねえからな。
Or do you need to take the test?
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Well, I've taken the test.
You know what type you are?
I don't remember. I have to look it up.
こんなことには。
Oh, that's not useful. Now I can't tell you what romance novel you should read.
Here, hang on a second.
まあ、とにかくしっかりやってく
Let
れ。
me see if I can find that article.
I think I was 460, 462, something like that.
It's a single number 1 through 9, isn't it?
Well, but there's combinations, and usually it's the strong, the medium, and the weak that are and then everything else is weaker than the weak. So,
Well,
top 3
they're
traits.
asking me for singular numbers. So 4.
4.
Okay. So you're the individualist, also sometimes called the romantics. They recommend you read How to Date Your Dragon by Molly Harper.
That sounds familiar.
I'll read you the synopsis once I find it.
Okay.
Anthropologist Gillian Ramsey's career has taken a turn south. Concerned that technology is about to chase mythological creatures out into the open, how long can Sasquatch stay hidden from Google Maps? The League for Interspecies Cooperation is sending Gillian to Louisiana on a fact-finding mission. While the League hopes to hold on to secrecy for a little bit longer, they're preparing for the worst in terms of human reactions. They need a plan, so they look to Mystic Bayou, a tiny town hidden in the swamp where humans and supernatural residents have been living in harmony for generations. Mermaids and gator shifters swim in the bayou. Let's put a pin in that. I'm going to have a problem with it. Spirit bottles light the front porches after twilight. Let's put a pin in that. I have a problem with that too. Dragons light the fires under crayfish pots. Jillian's first assignment for the League could be her last. Mystic Bayou is wary of outsiders, and she has difficulty getting locals to talk to her. She can't get the gruff town sheriff Bale Boone off of her back or out of her mind. Bale is the finest male specimen she's seen in a long time, even though he might not be human. Soon their flirtation is hotter than a dragon's breath. Which Bale? I mean, his name is Bale. Okay, come on. So,
It's
which
2
Bale
A's?
just might turn out to be, no, not Ball, but
Okay.
Bael, Balefire.
Okay.
Okay, so gators and mermaids swimming in the bayou. Gators are freshwater. One would presume that mermaids are saltwater,
You
although I
could-
guess
2 different types.
so. There's freshwater mermaids that get stuck living in like lakes. I mean, how that doesn't seem like they're the right size. I mean, like maybe in Lake Michigan,
Where am I?
but the bayous are gross, man.
I had to drop off my weapons. Where are my weapons? I spent money on that weapon, and I got the. What?
Press RB.
Okay, we're fine.
Oh. And then what was the other thing? Are we bottling up spirits and putting them on things? Whatever. Also, this whole book is just whatever the Sookie Stackhouse thing, whatever that's called. True Blood.
Yeah, I know it
Where-
sounds terrible.
A bunch of supernatural people live with Hicks in Louisiana backwater. So, I mean, it's the same exact plot. So yeah, congrats. on your recommendation. I don't know. Let us know if it worked for you.
Hello, Keanu.
私河原のもんでモグサって言います。
No, it's
今
Keanu.
花屋さんのところで働かせてもらってます。旦
Your
那
other
ちょいとボスのところに顔
yeah.
出してやってもらえませんかね。
Well, anyways, yeah.
Even worse.
That was pretty bad.
My other choice was
I'm-
worse than
I'm-
that.
Well, no, I'm scrolling through the books, and there are
No.
some books on
ボス
here
の身
that
内にトラブル
are
らしいん
really
です。
highly regarded,
ここんとこずっと機
and
嫌
then
悪
there's
くて。
stuff like
でも
how to date your
私らには
dragon.
何も話してくれねえんです。
Like for example, if you were type 5, you would have the AI Who Loved Me as your option by Alyssa Cole, who I think is pretty well regarded as a romance novel writer.
花屋に家族が。
大昔に別れたのがね。
A literal robot
So no
hero
mascot
trying to
ってのがこの町の不
reboot
良で
and
して。
learn everything all over again. Well, let's talk about some consent issues there. Alright, well, and if you were 6, is your like middle one?
Yeah, I think that's
They're
kind of
recommending Girl Gone Viral by Alicia Rai, which is a novel about a wealthy recluse whose bodyguard has been pining for her for years. When her innocent interaction with a stranger at a coffee shop goes viral, her intentionally sheltered life goes online where the whole world can see her. She doesn't want to be in her carefully guarded home anymore. Oh wait, it doesn't feel safe. Actually, this book does kind of sound like it's Jazz seeing her bodyguard suggests going upstate to his family farm until this whole thing blows over. Just the two of them alone in a rural house. Yeah, this is
No.
anti-social people find love.
This also sounds terrible and super sketchy.
Wait, which part of? Well, I mean, she's dating her employee. That's what
But it is better than the urban fantasy.
Although on this list also is the kiss quotient, which is also someone dating an employee. I don't know. None of these books are appealing. And the kiss quotient I have read in an attempt to determine if I hate romance, which incidentally the result of that experiment was yes. I pretty much did.
Alright, you're gonna find a bar this time.
He's gonna pat you down and find your pipe. Your hard pipe.
It is steel
Your
hard.
lead pipe. Is this a pipe in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
I'm very happy to see him.
What do we got here? Contraband shit in your pants. Alright, you're fighting Officer Machima. Don't lose. Anyways, this is one of these little things you need for an achievement.
Well, I had the achievement, but I have to do it again. I think I have to beat them so they don't show up with this next one.
Oh right, this is the one they gave you for free.
Ouch. No, the free one was back in the furlough.
No. This isn't really great for you. I am impressed with your ability to keep your feet.
Goodbye, Machima.
Mr. Dez is watching the current war downstairs.
Which one? We've still got 2 going on, I think.
No, it's got Benedict Cumberbatch and
I don't
the some other guy, and they play Tesla and Edison.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about, but that's not called the current war. Is it?
Pretty sure it is, but go ahead.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm more out of touch than usual.
Well, that movie is only 2 years old, so or 3 years old, so.
2. It came out in October 2019. So, not
So
even
for
full 2.
normal people, that's like.
But this past 6 months and 7 months of this year has been like so long.
Michael Shannon, that's the other guy's name.
Huh?
This year has been pretty long. It's true. Oh my gosh, there's another Tesla movie coming out in 2020. How many Tesla movies do we need? Why does Hollywood always do this? Where they've got to make the same
Essence
movie.
of Mad Dog Dagger.
Oh. Ethan Hawke and Kyle MacLachlan will play Tesla and Edison. Interesting. Interesting. This current is delicious and hot. Okay.
Why can't I upgrade? Cannot. These all say I can't learn the ability yet. This do, but I can't learn it for some reason. Oh, that's an achievement. Huh.
Yay, achievement.
I'm down in critical health way too often.
That's probably a good choice.
Let's just, come on. Okay, and this one, considerably, huh? I mean, that was 10 points, but that gets me to... Yay! But it's 50 points, so that's, Let's see here, what are these other ones? Boost attack damage, how do I get to over there? Oh, I can do it. You are less likely to falter during a... I wonder what faltering is. But, alright. Not having a bad thing happen sounds good. The image can you throw. You can throw an enemy who has you in a hold. Oh, I didn't know the quick step used heat. Alright, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40. Alright, that seems reasonable. So I've increased my health considerably, and I've increased my attack damage some, and I've gained a few extra abilities along the way.
Okay.
That all sounds pretty good.
I mean, you're playing on easy, so I don't know
It's probably not essential that I have those things, but
like how critical it is you get it exactly right.
Yeah. And the thing is, the reading I was doing with why we can play that on easy is when you play on extreme, which is required for a different achievement, the things that you earn on your initial playthrough will carry over. What the hell is this? Can't be doing this. Big oaf! Well, it's better than an old guy, I guess.
Okay. So, big news this week was, and this may have been last week that this came out, but Logitech G and Herman Miller collabed on gaming chair. It cost $1,500.
Crazy.
Desks and monitors are to follow. Herman Miller consulted with Logitech G specifically to get the chair right for the way that gamers sit in chairs, because apparently the way that gamers sit in chairs are different ergonomically than people working at their desks do. So their normal office chair stuff wouldn't work. I mean, my guess is it would probably have been fine. But this is for, I mean, they're going to sell it to whoever has $1,500, but it's also for some pro gaming tournaments or something. It's called the Embody Gaming Chair. The seats are designed for the relentless pressure of high-speed driving. So, let's see, they're not, like that's normal gaming chairs, whatever. They look like racers. So what they're doing is they've taken the Aeron, which is one of their most famous office chairs. You see it in a ton of boardrooms and TV. Teamed up with Logitech G, and so this is the specs, or whatever. The company's been around for 115 years. There you have iconic products like the Eames Lounge chair, whatever. Oh. If you want to chill for a sec, there's a really... It has 7 points of calibration, the ability to adjust to your posture and spine position, a natural tilting mechanism, copper-laden foam to cool your body, and it features something the company calls dynamic pixel circulation, which helps to distribute your weight as you adjust during a play session.
Oh, it's a sub-story, so I've got to do it.
You have to do all the sub-stories for an achievement? Is there an achievement for doing all of the sub-stories?
Pretty sure. Let's clarify that. Yep, complete all sub-stories.
They have also coming out a monitor arm, which Engadget said will help you get rid of your ugly monitor arm. But I'm looking at their monitor arm, and it's not like it's so much cuter that I mean, I honestly can't tell looking at it online how it's significantly different from my current monitor arm. Like, it looks exactly the same. So I don't know. I don't know about this monitor arm. But yeah, the chair looks interesting. So there you go. Wipod, you were looking for a new chair, and you wanted one that didn't look like you were racing in a car. So here you go.
But it's expensive.
The Embody Gaming Chair does not look like a racing chair. So it's a mere $14.95 US, which I'm sure is just the normal price to spend on a chair for anyone. The Mosha gaming desk will retail for $12.95, and the monitor arm is $2.95 each. What's the Mosha gaming desk? Let's see. 12-year work surface warranty, 5-year base warranty, 30-day no hassle return. Does it sit stand? Like, what does it do? Why is it called Mosha? Well, no, it wouldn't sit stand. It would be designed to go with the chair, right? Like, I don't get it. It's just a desk. I don't know. Sometimes, whatever. There's stuff I don't get. Like, there are people who, when I was looking at office chairs, people who review chairs, like they review anything else, they do say that, you know, the Herman Miller chairs are super nice and they do feel like really nice chairs when you sit in them, but, you know, they're $1,000 more than a really nice office chair. So, are they $1,000 better? Not really.
女の子を泣かしちゃいけねえんじゃねえのか。
ここで飲まねえのは男じゃねえな。
They sent
お願
one
い
to
お
the
兄さん。マイと乾
oh
杯しよう。
they sent one to the Magic the Gathering streamer Kenji, and he was fiddling with it on his stream. It's a chair fit for Karis. Oh, interesting. So they're already sending them out, trying to get people into them. Well, Mr. Des sent it to
乾
me,
杯しよ
すっご
so
い。
This is
強
drugs,
強
right?
いのね、お兄さん。きっとあっちの
oh,
方
you're
も
the full package. Why is package in? Did
Why
she
do
do
you
air
think
quotes?
it's
ね、お兄さん。ここんとこつい
What?
てなくてさ。
I didn't
男
see her
運
do
が
air
悪い
quotes
ってい
though.
うか。
So
But it's
Demo.
translated,
それ
so
も今日でおしま
maybe
い。
I'm just cursed when it
Come
comes to
on,
finding nice guys, but I think my luck's gonna turn around.
wait, no. I drank my drink.
More drink for
私
you.
今夜はいろいろ忘れたいな。だからもう少し付き合ってね。乾杯。
I mean, we all get it.
I mean, it's been laid on pretty thick.
今は飲む気分じゃないんだ。
Are you gonna tell me that I can't finish my drinks
ど
again?
うしてマイと乾杯してくれないの？
お客さん、
Ugh,
女の子を泣かし
the
ちゃいけない
exact
んじゃない
same
か。
thing.
ここで飲まねえのは男じゃねえな。
お願いお兄さん。マイと乾杯しよう。
Maybe the U.S. Army can get some of these shares for their Twitch channel. I heard it's going great for them.
That story of them getting banned from Twitch for posting misleading links was hilarious. It wasn't listening. They were running contests, and the prizes were links to their enrollment things.
Yeah. And then also, I did read a roundup of like really bad luck Amazon Gaming's been having, and one of the things is that they had to delay this game they have coming up, which is an MMO. Let me get this right. New World. Amazon delays tentpole game after early feedback. So they have an open world MMO called New World, which the plot of that game is it got delayed because the people playing the beta said it didn't have anything to do and it sucked. So fine, whatever. They're going to put more content in it. But it's the description of the game is, where is it? It's some kind of people from a more advanced civilization come to a less advanced civilization simulator MMO. I would like colonialism since MMO or genocide simulator, whatever, which it should be up your alley because that's your thing. But why would you make this game right now? Maybe it isn't actually having problems and they're just pretending that it's having problems because they realize they shouldn't be making this game.
I mean, it's always okay to can something if it's not going to work very well. I can't find this thing in the stupid list.
Are you trying to figure out which way you need to answer for this quest?
Yeah, I mean, not so much to find out which way, because I think either answer is acceptable ultimately, but it's like, which way can I tolerate?
乾杯しよ
This is so
素敵
painful.
もううっとりしちゃう。あらどうかした？
お客さん、大丈夫ですかい？
Here it is. It's sub-story number 1.
The price of an F cup.
So I'm now... I'm broke.
なあんた大丈夫か？
Looks like you got roofied. Who could have seen that
ぼったくりの
coming?
キャッチだったんだ
That
よ。
really didn't. So
この
I
町じ
should
ゃ
have
よく
continued
あ
to
る
say
こと
no,
さ。
and I could have got 100,000
勉
yen
強
out of it.
代だと思いなよ。
That counted as spending it. Like, how much did I lose? Oh man, I lost a lot. So I should have stuck with my gut instinct and.
Yeah, you have to turn her down a bunch of times. Well,
a chance to redeem myself here.
That you've learned is, excuse you, scary face punk.
Boy.
What makes his face so scary?
I don't know, but the sweater is really
Yeah, the
what
sweater's
we've been
kinda
talking
scary.
about.
Thugs? One thug.
Oh, excuse
大
me.
丈夫か
That was
何
not
するんですか
a commentary on
Eh?
what's happening at
What
all.
did I do?
誰だこの男
知らないわよこんな人
Kitty!
この
Kitty!
俺
I love how Kitty always like chirps on every step up the stairs to like let me know she's so excited to be running up the stairs.
余計なことしちまったか俺はてっきり
She's like, why are you still up here?
覚
Past
悟はできてるか
10:15. 10:15 is when we sit in the chair and watch YouTube.
やめてやめてよ
Time to beat him up again?
よせ落ち着け
Don't do it! Please stop!
おいそんなもん出してどないする気や
Please?
うおーせいとやどうだ
Just like another rando.
参ったか
Wow. He's gonna break his elbow? Goodness.
おい
Situation is
Chotto,
getting
omae.
really out of hand.
さあ今のうちに逃げて
そうじゃねえっていうかやめろ
I think that the
Poor Jin-chan is having a rough day.
そちらの女性も怖がっている女性を連れて逃げなさい
is this man with a big head?
私なら大丈
Is
夫
that his name?
こういう輩はきっちりと将棋しないと
違うんだ人の話を聞け
His face kind of reminds me of someone, but I don't
ほ
know.
ら何やってるんだ
Oh, now the cops
あ
are
お
here.
前らさんご苦労様です実はチンピラがカップルを脅しておりまして
Yeah, he reminds me of an actor.
Yeah. It's the really prominent brow, I think.
大丈夫ねえ大丈夫なの
どういうこと？
まあカップルの血は喧嘩ってや
Actors
つだな
with really prominent brows.
ああ、
Oh,
あの
I'm
二
just
人
getting
のカッ
chicks
プ
who
ル。
are doing
って
heavy
こと
brows.
は
No!
脅してたチンピラってのはお前か？
はいや勘違い
It's
だ
really hard to
Or-
get Google to give you what you want sometimes.
違うんだ
一緒に警察に行きましょう
は
私も勘違いをしたそしてあなたも勘違いをしたこ
何言ってんだお互い正当防衛ださっさと逃げねえと面倒いな
逃げるスポーツマンは決して逃げたりしない
何
I like this guy. The big head guy. I mean, he's not smart, but I like him all the same.
あの男が女性から金をせびろうとして女性は嫌がっていた血は喧嘩とは知らなかった止めに入ったら男が俺に喧嘩をふっかけてきたんだ
そうなのか？
はいすみませんお騒がせして
そして途中この顔のでかい男が急に入ってきてチンピラをや
そうです
なるほど。
もういいか
すみ みませんでした。
いやもう
いや、それで
Anyway,
は
so
許されない。
you
そう
are.
だ。
You
私
can't
に
let
同じ
me
技を
off
か
that
けてください。
easily.
いや、好きな技を好きなだけかけてもらって。さ
You
あ、
are dealing
遠
with
慮な
some
く。さあ、
crazy dudes right now. Well, that guy actually, the two of them seem to be pretty smart.
すまなかったな。あんたには迷惑かかっちまった。
いえ、
それにしてもすごい技だったな。柔道をやってたのか。
では篠原さん、最近は物騒ですからお気をつけて。
篠原、なんで名前を。あんた有名なのか。
現役はもう引退してまして、それでまあちょっとした観光に。でもこういう場所を歩くのは慣れていないんで、迷ってるうちにさっきの現場に出くわしまして、本当にご迷惑をおかけしまして申し訳ありません。
そうだったのか。迷惑かけたついでだ。俺でよければ案内するぜ。
本当ですか？よろしくお願いし
I
ます。
do like Shinohara. Now we have a name for him. Barbecue.
All right, let's go get some barbecue.
Yeah.
はい。
What's the best barbecue? Liquor. Casual. There we go.
Ah,
The place where we ate the tongue trying to find the dog. Really?
出すもん出せよ。
後悔する。
Slowly making my yen back. Shichifuku.
Nani?
I mean, that's smart because it's true. You know, it hurts like truth.
いらっしゃいませ。
はい。
I'll take everything.
またまた。
What? Great. This is gonna be expensive.
I just want a cow.
え？
よろしく。
Both.
はい。
Look, almost
how much
breaking
is this
someone's
gonna cost
elbow
me?
works up quite the appetite.
Apparently. Who is this guy? You know who could eat 2 whole cows of meat? A dinosaur, and that's about it.
That doesn't even make sense because dinosaurs and cows weren't around at the same time. Think it through.
Sorry, I'm just thinking Jurassic Park.
Oh, isn't that a goat?
Yeah, it probably was a goat, but I thought they had cows too. But
I don't remember. I do think they feed the T-Rex a goat because the T-Rex won't show up. So maybe that's just like the snack they use to lure it out. Like you'd think it would need to eat more than a goat per day.
Cabaret club.
Life's a cabaret, my friend.
Hey.
Okay. Is this going to count as being entertained one time, by the way?
Hopefully you can purchase some entertainment.
I should just be entertained by entering the entertainment jet. Yep. That was entertaining.
Just run in and out 10 times.
Special luxury space.
VVIP, man. Nothing but the best for you.
Fight. What was this? What was the letter before VIP? V, double V?
V, double V.
What's
yeah.
What's the other V for?
What?
It's for people who are more than just regular VIPs. So like VIPs were the 10%, VVIPs would be the 1%. Are you getting mad now?
No, I'm just I don't understand so much about what is going on in life, it seems.
Well, I'm not sure how often you hear VVIP outside of, well, South Korea is where South Korean entertainment is where I have heard it the most. So I don't know if it's crossed over. Yeah, VVIP stands for very, very important person.
Okay, so they're both very.
Yeah, very, very important person.
Yeah.
VVIPs would be people who an organization considers more important than VIPs. Duh. Okay. But yeah, you hear it. You hear it a lot in South Korean stuff. I mean, I know this is Japan,
but you know,
but and when I've heard it in South Korean film and television, it has been said VVIP, not, you know, it is VVIP, not, well, that's not, I don't know, it's not like whatever the Hangul for the Korean version of it would be or something like that. I recently went down a rabbit hole of watching like BTS fans
right?
flipping out over stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was scary. We should try to make them mad because that would be probably really good for this channel's engagement.
Make who mad?
BTS fans.
Help me out. Oh no, the voice.
Yeah, yeah. We have to figure out how to get on their radar.
That's gonna be hard.
We just have to like, I don't know. I'll ponder it. Just go on all K-pop and just start insulting.
The thing is, it's even harder because every time I've seen anything they've done, it's very impressive. So.
Oh yeah, they're fine. Their fans are not fine.
No, I mean K-pop fans in general. Let's
do a not all Of course.
Of course.
Plenty of BTS fans are totally well-adjusted people who don't go
So
around
anyone on
harassing
Twitter,
the internet.
you know, and so BTS fans on Twitter have the double thing going for them. That's my take.
Right. I mean, their fandom is really doing the most at all times, as far as I can tell. So, like last night, a video auto-played about how Dr. Phil made them mad because he had someone on his show who had spent over $100,000 having plastic surgery to look like one of the members of BTS, and this person was not Asian to start. And so Dr. Phil was like, you know, you have a real problem because you're trying to look like a manufactured image anyway. Like, you're not... He doesn't look like that most of the time. You know, he has hairstylists and makeup and this, that, and the other. You know, it's this completely manufactured image. You don't know what he really looks like or what he's really like, let alone to mimic it. It's just weird, man. Yeah, I gotta start pumping out TikToks. Good advice, YPod.
So there's a couple of problems with that.
Trying to get CROW-nos on
TikTok.
TikTok
Yes.
is gonna be difficult. So
I have real concerns about TikTok for many reasons, and I think they're reasonable concerns.
that it's the Chinese government spying on you. Is that one of them?
Yes, that's pretty high up there.
Yes. So anyway, basically that whole exchange turned into Dr. Phil says this beloved character or group member from BTS is manufactured image. Which, look, K-pop fans, he's not saying he's not talented. He's not saying he's not handsome. He's not saying he's not a charming, nice, wonderful person. He's saying that the image presented by BTS is manufactured, which it is.
Because of course it is. That's what they do.
It just is. That is what all... I mean, what person in the public eye doesn't have an image that's manufactured to some degree? So it's just how it is. Just the nature of celebrity, right? It's all a performance. It's all a presentation. But they just really got mad at Dr. Phil. So Dr. Phil was attacked by the BTS army or whatever. I don't know what their group is called. I don't know if they're an army.
That time is now.
Yeah.
He's impressed because I won the fight in there. That is why we got through. And the only reason I won that fight is potions, right? So I don't know why he's so impressed.
Maybe you did it real sneaky when you drank the potions, so he doesn't know.
I was eating a sandwich on the floor.
Oh, you were eating sandwiches, club sandwiches, or egg salad sandwiches, or something weird, right? Anyway, think about what you could do to make BTS fans mad, and then make a TikTok about it.
Do not
And
put
then make
BTS
sure.
behind the scenes. Well, pretty much everything we do is behind the scenes. You're in my basement.
But like down in the basement is creepier than behind the scenes. It's like beneath the earth. So did you go back to work yet or no?
Oh yeah, I mean not this week, but I've been at work for quite a while. I basically never left, but I've been doing 2 days on, 3 days off kind of telework. Where the days off are...
No, I meant, do you drive into the office?
Yes, twice a week.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah, and it's surprisingly still very heavy traffic. Not as bad, but only slightly better.
Yeah, you're off this weekend, next week, or whatever, right? 2 weeks?
At least, yeah, next couple of days at least. I'm tentatively going back on Monday, and we'll see if that needs to be extended, because I actually don't know how long this is going to take.
The road trip? Did they leave yet?
Oh yeah, they're gone. Currently in South Dakota.
fun. We're so close to India. So, yeah. Yeah, I got some text messages about moving days.
Yeah, the one day turned into 2 days, and then that turned into a fiasco where the movie company's asking for more money, and it's a mess.
Which happens 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They either will ask for more money or they won't finish your job. Those are the two options. But, yeah. So, are they... Why? Did they buy the land and put tiny houses on it or whatever?
No, that hasn't
or are
happened
they
yet.
all
They're-
just
they're renting
living
a
in
house right
apartments?
now.
Okay.
And then after a year or two of getting the lay of the land and settling into the area and scouting out properties, that's when they'll move to the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been told. Whether any of that actually pans out, I don't have to worry about it because it's none of my damn business.
It's not your problem.
Not my
That's
circus.
true.
Which is something
I
I'm
mean, it's
repeating
your
an awful
circus
lot
in
these
law,
days.
though.
What was that?
It's your circus in law, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is in the proximity of my circus, but
In the Venn diagram of circuses, there is overlap between that circus and your circus.
if it's a 3-ring circus that we're talking about, then maybe they have the smallest ring, or maybe they're the circus next door.
So, like, well, or are they the, like, the creepy part of the circus, you know, where the adults go?
Well, I think that it's pretty clear that I'm the freak and the geek. So.
I mean, I don't think you have, like, no offense or anything, but I don't think you have any qualities that would make you
Well, the word geek has been
desirable for a freak show.
Right. I am a geek in the sense that I'm a big nerd, and the geeks were the ones who bit the heads off of chickens and stuff, right?
Yes.
So I don't do that, but I could do that. But yeah, I'm not a biological freak that I know of. I mean, there are ways that I could perhaps perform as one, and most of them are performers anyway, so I don't need to have it. Just have to show that I have it.
Can you, like, do you really think you could bite the head off a chicken? I mean, I don't want to,
I have done some impressively horrific things in my life that you don't know
strength
about.
or anything, but that seems outside the, you know, the norm.
I'm not saying I
for
enjoy
job
doing it.
That's something you have to, like, build up to, is what I'm thinking. Like, you know, I don't think it's something you can just do one day. You probably have to train.
The octagon.
There we are. You're gonna feel right at home here, man. Well, this has been a weird conversation. Let's not talk about circuses ever again. Let's make a pact.
Here's the reason why we don't talk about circuses ever again. Circuses have clowns.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for clowns. I don't know how clowns got popular.
I don't think clowns actually are popular. I think that they just everyone's too scared to tell people that they shouldn't have clowns. Because the clowns scare them.
So the clowns are like the original emperor's new clothes.
Yeah, and
like we're all just going around
the court
pretending
jester
we
is
like
kind of a clown,
clown.
and he's the one who's allowed to tell the king that things are, you know, the truth. He's the nemesis kind of character.
Yeah, but I feel like the court jester, that role is more fulfilled by stand-up comedians now than clowns.
Sure, no, you're right. Clowns fill a very weird role in society right now. Like the person who desires to be a clown, that is strange.
Like, what's the psychology of clowns? I know they get mad anytime someone makes an It movie. It makes them very, very angry.
That would understandably, you know, because that's not. If you are okay being a clown, then the presentation of clowns in It is not good.
Spoiler, he's not a clown. He just looks like what you're scared of. So sometimes he looks like a clown.
Oh, so he's a boogie monster.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not get into what he is because it's dumb. But
I mean, Stephen
he
King, so.
will. What?
It's Stephen King, so.
It's Stephen King. You know, Stephen King is like, there's always some point where a book just goes so off the rails. You're like, what now? What? We were doing so well, Stephen. Things were going pretty. I mean, not always, but in his longer stuff.
Nanny?
Yeah.
He's clearly a talented writer because he writes stuff like Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption, and those are fine, right? And
or the body, which is
And then he also writes Tommy.
Stand by Me.
Like same guy.
Well, yeah, and I really enjoyed his pulpy detective stuff, like That Body That Washes Up in Maine, that's like from Montana or something, and no one can figure out how it got there or anything, you know. I forget what that's called, but yeah, his short stories are good. His, you know, just his plain fiction or his fiction that's more magical realism, like Green Mile, I would say, than his really out there fantastical stuff, I think tends to be better. And he was asked what his 3 favorite novels were, and he said Lisi's Story, which totally I knew would be on the list. It's clear from that book that that's his autobiography. Misery, which I think makes a lot of sense as well. And The Stand. I thought that he could answer that question considering his body of work is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of is.
I mean, someone said you have to read something like 2,000 pages or 3,000 pages to read everything Stephen King reads or writes in a year. You would have to read like 3,000 pages a year of just Stephen King just to keep up with him.
Well, obviously that's possible, but that's a lot of reading.
Well, this kind of goes back to that discussion that we had not on stream of how are people reading?
Apparently not.
Well, that's another discussion, but when we were talking about the libraries and their digital collections...
Oh, right, that one.
And I was talking about how my mom, we looked up my mom's library system and she didn't have a very large digital collection, but she uses it like super happily. But she mostly reads popular murder mysteries and mystery books. So, like, are there some libraries that are just thinking, okay, we're just gonna... 80% of people are reading the same 20% of books. We're gonna save a ton of money and only stock those 20% of books. I mean, that's the way to stock your library. And I imagine that if you were thinking that way, then Stephen King would be on there. And there are some people who probably just only have time to read to keep up with what Stephen King's doing and like maybe one other person. I mean, I'm trying to think. What if you want to keep up with James Patterson? How many pages did you have to read a year to keep up with James Patterson? I feel like he's got like 10 different series he's always adding to.
Oh. Alright, he had 3 health bars when he started,
He was
so...
allowed to change his clothes, and he just had to take out his shirt.
And not just my shirt and my jacket.
If you let you keep your belt.
Well, he's got a belt on. Nice and key, but...
Yeah, but if he takes off his belt, his shirt will fall apart. But if you took off your belt, your pants probably wouldn't fall down.
I'm gonna guess they would. Oh, ow.
Yeah, most of the stuff that I like from Stephen King are shorter novels and novels outside the strictly horror genre. Kitty. What's going on, buddy? I know. It's so late. I'm so sad. play him dead now. Just trying to look at that.
The whole dragon style was not working for me there. I figured it worked better than the brawler style was, but it's not. I'm gonna have to go to a store and buy some more of this. Oh, he just is not taking it. Okay. Uninterruptible. Oh, oh dear. Oh, no.
It's always bad when they're flowing and you're not.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get rid of that. Ow. No! Ow! Hey, you're facing the wrong direction, moron. Oh, right through the cage. I'm running out of... Thank you. Alright, so he uses the same move there. It's actually good for these new animations if I use the other fighting styles. Which is probably not. That's a new animation though. I mean, not like I haven't seen it 10 times already at this fight, but... Dragon ought to be my best. I don't know why it's not.
I was just about to compliment her on the show and then I realized you were the one. Those are some solid air punches.
Could you stop that for a second? Oh.
Alright, let's see. Here we are. Reddit on the best and worst fighting.
I learned this move. I'm gonna use it a few times. I deserve to be punished for that.
Yakuza Netflix adaptation coming in 2024.
Those are some solid air punches. Yeah.
Yeah. Oi.
Yeah?
Oh, he's a fun character. Yay! That's a lot of experience.
Well,
So, what do we have left on the table for tonight?
not really much. I mean,
旦那旦那じゃないですか
basically just the AT&T thing,
Dardo,
which
man.
is essentially don't get AT&T if you have a choice.
Yeah, and make sure you know that this is what companies are doing, these anti-consumerist practices.
Right. So, in other words, AT&T
俺ですよ。
this week sent people
もしかして
on their network who had unlocked
そうです。
phones a notification that they needed to buy a new phone with a link to where they could buy a new phone through
青木からで
AT&T
も
store
聞いたんですか
because their phone would be turned offline. Now, it did not
俺の事件を追
include
ってて
important information like they wouldn't be turned
Tokyo
offline
One
until I believe sometime in early 2022.
February
さ
2022,
す
I
が
think
花屋さんだ
And
Yeah, it was
then
when they were going to
you'll
start
just
turning
start
them off.
working. Right.
Yeah. So, you know, people honestly,
さあ
there
5
was
年
no way
前
to know from the email that was sent by
サイの河原に入って
AT&T,
ボス
which
と
did
知り合
look
ったん
very
です
urgent,
そ
that
して
It's fear mongering.
情
It's
報屋
scaring
として
people into
の自
making a
分
purchase
が
that they probably
足
don't
元
need
に
to make
も
for a
及ばない
variety
こ
of
とを感
reasons,
じて
and
ね
hoping that they can
そ
increase
れ
their
で
profits on the phones.
姿を
Unless
隠し
it
て
is
ボ
honestly
ス
a
の
mistake.
部下
You
とし
think
て
that
働こう
a
と
company
決
as
めた
big
ん
as
ですか
AT&T can make a mistake like
でも
that
ど
and
うして
email
死んだなん
communications
て
they send out
嘘
to their customers?
well, and their
俺には
email,
幸い
which
嫁も子
incidentally was
供もい
not
な
an
かったんで
apology, was just
別
something
に
like maybe the email
そ
could
れ
have
な
been
らいっそのこ
clearer.
と
They didn't even really
自分を
apologize
消
or
しちまった方が
clarify, or and they didn't even
そう
confirm
そうです
when
か
they were reached out
いや
to
でも
by
俺のことは
tech
青木
reporters that they were doing it. They had to go look in the fine print on
それ
this
じゃあま
email
た
themselves. So essentially, AT&T tried to trick people into getting locked phones for their network, and they are going to start, at least as early as February 2022, not allowing unlocked phones on their network as far as anyone can tell. Which is a pretty bold move. They will be, as far as I know, they'll be the first of the major cell companies to do it.
I mean,
And
that's the point of an unlocked phone, is that it moves, but not
Right.
AT&T.
right now, AT&T, you can move a locked AT&T phone to another network. They just hassle you, and it's a pain in the ass. But I have moved AT&T tech to T-Mobile. It just was such a pain in the ass, and it ended up me having to throw a tantrum on Twitter in order to get their head of social media to DM me and fix it for me. And incidentally, I had tried multiple phone calls and multiple trips to the AT&T store over the course of something like 6 weeks to get this resolved before I threw my Twitter tantrum. But the person and so many of the people I talked to were like, okay, well, I fixed it and it has to cycle through the system and we'll know in 72 hours kind of deal. But the head of their social media had it done immediately. It did not need to cycle through the system. So
Because why would they ever need to do that? It's all fabrication.
exactly. So anyways, so I have moved phones from AT&T to T-Mobile, and it was a huge pain in the ass, but it is doable. The question is, will part of this move be they will stop assisting or facilitating the movement of phones? I'm curious about that. The other thing is, I'm curious if they'll stick to it. I think this is one of those things where it's like, let's just send out the email,
See what happens.
see what happens.
Try it.
If no one freaks and drops AT&T, then we'll keep it. You know. Then what was really irritating is, I think it was The Verge, but I'm not sure. Some other outlet then had a headline the next day, which was something like, after AT&T tells customers it's going to shut off their phones, T-Mobile announces it's dropping some phones from its network. And I was like, what the hell is this? But this was just, it was like, you know, if your phone isn't 4G LTE by a certain date, T-Mobile's not going to support it anymore. It was something like that. It wasn't like
Yeah, and that's
if you buy your
bad,
phone
but
from someone other than
it's
T-Mobile.
potentially problematic. It's not as bad. Oh, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
they don't plan to turn off. Okay, so in Canada, you can't use Volta on Rogers with an unlocked phone, even though the phone supports it, but they won't turn off regular 3G service. So, okay, so it's no big deal. So it's just a little bit slower when you're not on Wi-Fi, right? That's it. So yeah, so it's unclear what exactly T-Mobile's deal is. Doesn't affect me, which is not to say that it doesn't affect someone else, and I don't care. But it wasn't something I spent a lot of time looking into because it seemed like it was an equipment thing.
The call quality is lower. Interesting. So you drop off 3G and you go down to like 1G, and therefore there's static on the line and call drops, or you have dead spots.
No, they're keeping. I think are they keeping 3G and you? I don't. Yeah, so the T-Mobile thing didn't sound nearly as extreme, and I think it was more like a clickbait title to get people who were already upset about the AT&T thing clicked on the article.
They're on to you.
I know, it's just the internet, man. But anyways, so that was actually something very anti-consumerist and very annoying that happened. No, it's just voice over 3G that... Okay, but not voice over LTE. So basically you could have a 4G LTE phone and you just get it because it's an unlocked phone. So they're still going to support the phone to some extent, just not fully. Whereas AT&T was like, we're not going to let you use it on our network or something like that. Like, it was very extreme. You would have to buy a new phone to use it on their network was what they were saying. And some of the phones on their list were brand new phones that came out this year. So it wasn't even about how old they were. It was just, did you buy them from AT&T or not? Because if you didn't, we're not going to support them.
No, I can't fight Mashima.
No.
Wow, you can barely walk and now you have to fight him. That's really, it's going to be bad for you. So that was really like what was such a problem with the AT&T thing. Now I left AT&T to save money a couple years ago, and T-Mobile's perfectly fine. I think in my city, AT&T has like a 99% rating and T-Mobile has a 97% rating. So even though T-Mobile is technically worse, it's like, what does it matter, you know, for coverage? But T-Mobile is way cheaper than AT&T, so that's why we went there. Even though one of the people that I added to my plan changed the plan recently, and because we were grandfathered onto a cheaper plan that doesn't exist anymore, we got bumped up to their lowest tier unlimited plan. So now I have unlimited everything, which is annoying, but whatever. I just told them they were going to have to pay the difference. And also don't add people to your home plans to be nice to them. Just, that's a pro tip, a life tip, even if they're single moms. But yeah, so that AT&T thing was really annoying. Nintendo fanboys got in some kind of snit over something. I wasn't really clear on what it was. Like, it was something like Nintendo said they were going to do like a really low-key Nintendo Direct, like they even called it a mini Direct or Direct Mini, and they didn't announce anything good. Or, well, I mean, they didn't announce anything big or new or whatever, and so then they freaked out and rated it a 0 or something. I don't know. Like, yes, the Bakugan thing. Yes. Bakugan, whatever.
Ooh. Is it Bakugan?
So, okay. So, Nintendo has a deal with them to make a game. And no one knows what it is. All that's known is that it will be some kind of third party. IP or something like that. Like it's very vague. But yeah, people thought they were gonna announce what it was that they were gonna make, and I don't know. Like, anyway, basically, they got it in their heads that something was gonna happen at this Nintendo Direct, and when it didn't happen, they got mad. So it was one of those things where Nintendo could literally not have predicted this weird turn of events. So there was a little mini Twitter brawl over it. The real, like, there's some really ongoing, like, drama in the beauty community if you just want to watch people being torpedoing their careers left and right. So if that's the kind of thing that entertains you, then
Which community?
the YouTube beauty community.
What does that have to do with Nintendo?
No, this is a separate thought that I'm just throwing in there, that if you like people getting mad on the internet, like if you find that entertaining, then you can go.
Yeah, I think I heard something about this beauty industry thing falling apart, but I can't remember what it is.
Well, Shane Dawson who is kind of like one of the longtime YouTubers, he got involved in a beauty controversy, and it just probably ended his YouTube career. He's probably done. So, he has 20 million subscribers. So, you know, and it's his whole source of income. So, hopefully, he's been saving his money and investing it wisely. And then I participated in something called the Reading Rush, which was like a sort of like an online party or challenge to read 7 books in 1 week, which I did do. That's really hard, by the way.
7 books in a week? Yeah, that's a lot.
But I did it. Anyways, that went down in flames over a controversy as well, like on the last day. So people are really not holding it together well online. And by people, I mean people whose jobs are doing YouTube. And I'm starting to get worried that I'm gonna somehow cancel myself.
Yeah, that's a fair concern. Things are different these days. And you've been doing this for long enough that stuff... I think you're probably fine simply because, you know, I think you're smarter than the average person in this industry. Right? By an order of magnitude?
One would hope. I mean, for sure. One being I. It affects moi. But, yeah, I have always been careful on very hot button issues, not to like really engage with a lot of discussion. Like, you know, if they start fighting with each other over politics in the chat on one of my lives, I just ignore that. I just pay really close attention to whatever I'm demoing until it's off the screen, and I can't be expected to respond to it. So I have my tricks for avoiding controversy that I've learned over the years, but...
Yeah, and you've definitely helped me out with some strange situations in this room. Not that it happens all that often, but it always works out pretty well.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I survive, but I mean, there have been a lot of reckonings lately, so I'm starting to get worried. So, I mean, if Nintendo can't avoid controversy when they literally didn't do anything, then what am I gonna do? But things have been fine. There was recently this really cringy thing. So, I don't know how much do I want to say about this because I don't know. Whatever. So, like, there was this really cringy situation that happened, like, in my industry where a really big name in this kind of micro industry got accused by a former employee of being super racist. And of course, this is a really, really bad time to be accused of being a super racist.
Yep.
And they denied it completely and said that this employee was full of shit and the truth would come out, and like there was no there unequivocally, no way this happened. And I was like, okay, I mean, sometimes if an employee just has an axe to grind, right?
Sure.
So, and that was very, like, there was no wiggle room. There was no way to later on be like, well, what I meant by that was, So, but they immediately pivoted to this really, like, horrible, I thought, sort of online series of demos where a really well-known person in the industry would use their platform, and they would pass their platform to a not well-known person in the industry who was a person of color. And so they did these like joint things where one person would, the white person would start the thing, and then they would pass it to the person of color, and the person of color would finish the thing. And that was all sponsored by the person who got accused of racism. I thought it was a weird pivot, and I also was like, can't you just uplift people of color working in this space? Why do you have to do this weird, baton passing thing? Why couldn't you just say, hey, this week every day I'm going to highlight a bomb-ass creator in this space, and I'm going to have them maybe come on my stream,
Something where they're maybe listening good, but they're giving themselves props at the same time, rather than...
Yeah, it was very, like, performative on the part of the white people, I felt. I don't know. I was luckily not asked to participate. So.
Yeah, that's a whole ball of wax that I, as a white person, have spent a lot of time trying not to get involved in. But there's a really good chance that Paul, Travis, and I will be doing some extensive discussion about this in the near future, because
you hate...
I hate myself, and apparently Paul's ready to get canceled, so it'll be a lot of fun.
It does seem like Paul wants to be canceled. Like, I can't imagine this was your idea or Travis's idea.
Well,
like, oh no, do they just want to fight it out? Is that what's happening?
Well, I told you about
basically
the intervention that we had going
right, but you had to break them up because they were already fighting about race.
And so I threw the grenade in there.
Right.
And
you were like,
Travis
there's nothing more
on...
useful than a bunch of white people fighting about race.
It was awesome. It was like, so no, we don't want to do this. And then we talked about it, and Travis and I discussed, a number of things. And ultimately we decided that we were going to do a book club. So we're all reading a book, and we'll discuss the book.
Don't. Are you reading White Fragility?
No, God, no. That would be really bad.
Okay. So, all right. I was like, please don't read the corporate,
no, that is a thing that we would all be very aggressive against. Even Travis, I think, would be very clearly against that. And that's not what we want to do. I wanted to have an actually good conversation, so I went to a good book. I won't spoil it now, but that'll come out later. We were gonna record it tomorrow, but everyone's a little behind on the reading. It's a short book, but apparently asking someone to read 120 pages is hard, so they're not ready.
We're probably going to get canceled for criticizing White Fragility. Look, I mean, my concern with it is I think it's a way for corporations to absolve themselves of actually making the working life better for their employees, is to, like, instead of making any meaningful changes to the corporation, you hire a corporate consultant to come give one of these talks, and then you can be like, hey, we did a thing.
I will say, I think that this might probably be the content that makes you happy with my podcast, in the sense that of all the things that you have used as advice for me when I come to feedback, it's you all agree too much, right?
Yeah, that is what I say. That for something called rampant discourse, there's an awful lot of agreeing and not a lot of discoursing. So I've just been waiting for the episode where the gloves come off and you have a huge fight with each other.
Apparently, this may be it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do a book club and we can read. Well, I was gonna say we could read White Fragility, because maybe I'm wrong about it and I just need my mind changed. But anytime corporations flock to something, I'm always like, well, that's evil. Just like, Is that wrong of me? Do I need to really think about the feelings of the corporations?
Corporations are people too.
I mean, that is what the Supreme Court said.
Well, the thing
So
is, they are legally people, so that was a correct decision. They're just
they
not
are
natural people.
yeah, it's just not. It's just
There's a difference, and there's a legal difference.
Yeah. So
You
yeah,
can't
let's do a
murder a
cage match.
corporation.
That's what I want. Well, so for your discussion, like how crazy is it gonna get, do you think? Like
I
is
honestly don't know.
is anyone like no one's an actual racist, so at least there's not gonna be anyone doing racist talking points unless by accident.
I think it'll be by accident if it happens. And I think we're all gonna be super careful, but at the same time, like
I mean,
come on.
there's so many grenades. Like what?
This is not grenades. Yeah. This is a minefield. We're gonna be tap dancing on
it's a minefield.
So it should be a lot of fun.
Oh my
fun
God.
is the wrong word, but I'm looking forward to it in a sense. It'll either be our best episode or our last episode.
Well, it's funny because I was recently just gonna email you and be like, "It's been a month. What's going on?" Like, but apparently you've just been fighting about racism for a month. So that's instead of filming a podcast.
Yeah, we haven't recorded anything new for a while, so we will get some new stuff out. And the one that we just posted yesterday is.
I'm so worried about this because I just remember Paul's thing about feminism, and
I genuinely think this could go really, really badly, especially for Paul.
Well, yes, especially for Paul, specifically, just because because of how the feminism thing came across.
But I think that the conversation will be okay. I think we're gonna be fine. I really think we're gonna be okay. So I
think Travis is like, just make sure Travis gets a little warm up because he usually like comes into his own like like he like it takes him like 20 minutes sometimes to like really like get his confidence. I get it, like totally. So maybe do a little warm up or something. I don't know, because he should come in hot. So that.
All right, I'll pass that along.
All right, well, this has been a weird episode.
This has been our strangest episode of this series. We will be back next week with more, assuming that we're not canceled. But it won't, because that episode's been published, because we're not recording that yet.
Yeah, but I mean, I did say I wasn't interested in reading White Fragility, which might be enough to get you canceled now.
If that's enough to get us canceled, then we deserve to be canceled. And society
no, we don't. But we should just we should just remove ourselves from the situation. All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.